Hi.
All right, we're back. You're going to share a little bit more with us.
So lots of things happened this weekend, which was so wonderful. But I want to talk a little bit about intuition. Mm-hmm. And for me, I kind of had a hard time understanding that and what that meant. And so this weekend I went to so when you go to Miraval, you can sign up for classes. You can sign up for like activity classes or like lectures. Or you can do like a drawing thing. Like there's so many different things you can do. And there's other things like you have to pay extra money for like they have an equine something. They have like a cooking thing, you know, those kind of things, which I have not done, but I heard they're amazing. But there's like just some lectures that are free or part of like when you go. So I had looked at the itinerary before we went and we signed up for a bunch of stuff, but there was a lot of things that were full because they're doing like half capacity or like it's not COVID, you know, you have to do separation and stuff. So when I signed up, I wasn't able to get into this lecture that I wanted to go here. But my mom got into it because she and I we both wanted to go to it. But she got into it. And so instead of me taking that as a sign, I was like, no, I really wanted to go to that. I really wanted to hear it. It seems like it's going to be really good. And then I thought, well, I'll just go and see if I can just like go in. Cause like sometimes they'll just sign you in and just be like, oh, you can stay. Cause there was still seats left over. So I knew there was room. So I get in there and ego was just like, I don't need to hear any of this stuff. I know it already, you know? And what? Who does she think she is?
Yeah.
Like, I can do that.
As soon as you wanted to so bad.
Yeah.
And as soon as you got in, you're like, oh, wait, I know what she's going to say.
She's going to say this, and I'm already enlightened. I don't need this. These other people here are not, so they need this more than I do. You know, like, I just total bitch, total ego, like, total, like, and then I'm sitting there the whole time and just like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? I was like, you know, totally triggered me. And there were some good parts to it. Don't get me wrong. There were some good parts to it. But, and I did take away one important thing from it, which was relationships. So it was about kindness. It was like self-kindness or something. And so she was talking about relationships and stuff. And then I was like, oh, and like relationship with yourself. It was as well as relationships around you. Because even Tommy Johns talked about like his 8 essentials or something like that. And it was like relationships. And as she was talking in the lecture, I was like, oh, okay, so how are we with our personal relationships with ourselves? And I was like, ooh, that's a good one, you know? So I sat with that for a little bit. So that I did get something out of it, even though I didn't really want to be there. Yeah.
Didn't feel like the whole thing pertained to you.
Exactly.
For you.
It was for everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So what was fun though was I left there and was like really struggling with why I didn't like it. Why I was just like triggered by it. So I went down and I did a worksheet, and what I realized was I can't remember. I'm trying to remember what he said.
Oh my God, that's it, isn't it? It's like, this was so
profound. I don't really know what I learned. What's so funny is like what I wrote on the worksheet is not really what I got out of it. What I got later was what I really got out of it. So that's why I'm like, what did I write? What did I remember? I don't remember.
The worksheet actually was not the impetus, the profound awareness.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyways, I didn't plan that.
Something
so
happened.
anyways,
It was just an activity that you did.
Yeah.
To get you to.
Yeah. So what I really learned was that all along I knew the first thing was I didn't get into the class. So that was my sign that I have something better for you.
Yeah.
God's like, I have something better for you. Time for yourself. Go sit in the meditation room. Go or relaxation room. Or go like
stop.
Yes.
Listen. See where I'm calling you.
Yes.
right? Like that's the moment when something
Yep.
doesn't work out.
Yep.
Like, oh, well, what am I supposed to be doing? And then you wait for that. Okay.
And I
You
didn't
didn't
wait
do
for
that.
it.
You didn't give
I
yourself
didn't
that.
listen. I was like, no, I want to go. I need to go see this, whatever. So I do, and I get triggered. So as we were talking before, healing is messy.
Yeah.
Healing, you're going to trip. You're going to fall. You're going to get scratches. Unless you start listening.
It can be more graceful.
It can be way more graceful. And I learned that through this whole thing, this whole experience. So again, like I said, the worksheet was just like, I don't remember what I did, wrote down. The beautiful piece of it was I learned to listen to that voice, to see the signs that are guiding me in the right way. I don't have to do anything. I just have to sit and listen.
Yeah.
And it can be so graceful. And if it doesn't, if you don't, you're going to be triggered. You're going to have to, not that I'm saying that I didn't need to have this experience to be able to heal and find out this piece, because maybe it could have come at a later time. I don't know. But that, it could have made the day and the whole experience a little easier, more graceful.
Yeah,
I
I mean, it's like you have no idea what you could have done instead.
Yeah.
And how kind of peaceful just sitting with yourself, maybe a realization comes through and you can accept it. Apologize for the dog in the background. In any of those pieces, like, you just don't know.
No.
But you do know that you spend a lot of time in kind of turmoil or like triggered emotions.
Yeah, which was not why you go to Miraval. You know,
Right,
you
exactly,
go to be zen, you know, and relax. So, yeah, it was quite an interesting awareness for me. So then I started to really investigate that a little more and think about the listening piece. And when I'm in a situation, even when I walked into the lecture, it was like, you don't really want to be here.
Like you knew it.
I knew it.
You're like, I don't like the feel of
It was the
this, or I don't-
resonance. Like, right? I ignored my resonance. And then feeling like, oh, I'm just going to stay. I'm just going to stay. But then having this negativity around it the whole time. I didn't like what she was saying. She was wearing a mask the whole time. You could hear her, but it was still just kind of like muffled. Like, it just didn't feel authentic. And I'm sitting there and just stewing in this, you know? And then later on I thought, okay, when I'm not listening to my resonance, I'm beating myself up. It's that whole punishment thing again, the whole cycle. And what I realized was the lecture may have been fine. It may have been great. It may have been a beautiful thing. But for me, it didn't resonate. And honoring that feeling, I have not allowed myself to do my whole life. I've made it a bad thing in the sense of I should like this lecture. It's about self-kindness. I should go, you know, take from it all these beautiful things, and this person's a wonderful person. Like, kind of like the thing when I was talking about like my husband and my mother-in-law. The feeling that I had, I ignored. And just allowing myself to have the feeling, and then not blame, not criticize, any of that, but just be like, this is for me. I may not be verbalizing it the way I want to verbalize it, and maybe I'll get there, but it was really just when I have the feeling that it doesn't resonate, it's okay. It's my truth. It's my resonance. It's not yours. It's not anybody else's. But when that comes up, I need to be able to get myself out of it.
Right. Notice it.
And notice
Exactly.
it and not be worried about hurting other people's feelings or letting people down. Like, I didn't want to let my mom down because she and I got in there and she's like, oh, I really want you to come and you should stay with me. You know, so it's just, it's the should, right? I should go. I don't know. Am I verbalizing
yes,
it right?
No,
Like,
absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm kind of, taking from it and understanding from it. But absolutely. I mean, there's plenty of good things out there, good for other people.
Yeah.
It's not wrong. But it's just not something that you need in the moment or even and resonate with. And it's like, why are we so scared to be like, yeah, no, that's not for me. Like,
I know. I don't know where it stems from. I haven't done the work on that to kind of figure it out. But what it made me think of is that I have ignored that feeling for so long that now it's like, it's okay. This your feeling, nobody else's feeling. And just honor it and be okay with saying like, okay, that's maybe how you feel, but that's not how I feel. But I love you and care about you. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But I have to be okay with that feeling. And I was never okay with the feeling.
It's so good. I mean, so this is going to kind of... I noticed this when I married Craig. He always had those feelings.
Yeah.
Like we'd walk into a restaurant, we'd sit down, and he'd be like, we'd order drinks.
Really?
And he'd be like, you know what? I'm not feeling this. We need to
Really?
leave.
Wow.
And I'd be like, what? We're just going to get up. Like, you're just going to listen to that and then expect us to act on it. Like, no, you push through, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
Seriously. Like, no, we already ordered. We're staying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the waiter going to think? What are people around us going to think? And it's just like, that got me thinking, like, wow, you just honor that, huh?
Yeah.
And then you ask me
Yeah.
to participate and you
Right.
honoring that.
Right.
That was a real shift for me, but it helped me to learn like, yeah, that's what you do. And people either are like, oh, okay, well, I have no feeling either way.
Yeah.
Or they're like, I'm kind of feeling it. I want to sit here.
Yeah.
And that's their opportunity to listen to their own resonance, to speak up for themselves, whatever, or just to notice overall. But it's like the more authentically we can come to things, like what could you have done for your mom there instead of coddling her?
Yes.
And making her feel comfortable.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, I'll sit with you because that'll make you comfortable. Like, man, Mom, you know what? I'm not feeling this. I'm going to go see what God has for me somewhere else. I didn't get in. I think I want to respond to that and see what life has to show me. Like, what could you... how could you be an inspiration in that way, rather than it being doing what's expected?
Exactly. And I think that's, for me, I'm really going to have to practice that. Because just having the awareness now that, like, if I'm in a situation like that, that's not wrong, I just don't resonate with it.
Yeah.
And I need to go, you know? And then, how can I, if I'm with somebody that I care about and, don't want them to think anything, how do I
verbalize that,
express it without there being an attachment to it?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
or anything wrong with the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's kind of like, wait, I want to go find that perfect thing for me.
Yeah.
This is not it.
This is not it. And I thought it was, and I was going to force it, right?
Exactly.
It's that, and this is what I was journaling about was, authentic versus forced, right? It didn't feel authentic to me, but I forced it. And so then it's like, okay, that's not my medicine, right? My life is that's not healing for me. And so, but now I just have to be aware when those things are coming up and then just honor that and go, oh yeah, that's what that feels like. That's that intuition saying like, not right for me.
Yeah.
I need to go do something else. But just, I hadn't heard it before in that way for myself, and to really honor that.
It's
hard.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful and it's hard. But like the more you practice it, like I remember having a very distinct situation when I was going to college. And I, my friend and I had signed up to be roommates together, and we'd put in and I didn't get her as a roommate. Oh. And I was like, how could this be? They said if we both requested each other, we could get it. And this is wrong, right?
Yeah.
But I remember reading that I got some girl from Savannah who turned out to be one of my best friends.
Oh, how funny.
I remember in the moment going, okay, this is right.
Wow.
And just knowing that's absolutely true and not fighting it. Like we could have been like, hey, I requested this girl. Why didn't I get it? We could have fought it, right? And she was all upset. But it ended up that she left. Like the first year, she decided to go somewhere else.
Interesting.
And I ended up being fabulous friends with my roommate from Savannah. And So when life stops you from going in a certain direction, it's time to look up and be like, okay, so what do you have for me?
Going with the flow, yeah. And we never know what it is, but it can be the most beautiful thing ever. But it's when we're trying to control it. Like, that's me. Like, I'm a recovering control freak, you know? It's trying to control it because we think we know what's best.
Right.
And it just brings me back to, like, the whole thing with food and being like, oh, well, you can't have the chocolate cake, you know? But it's like, I'm trying to control it. The ego is trying to control it, but I don't know spiritually what the chocolate cake could do for me.
Exactly.
It's trying to control the whole thing, and it's just like just allowing it to be in flow, right? Just being open to it, stopping and looking up and being like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Maybe it wasn't what I would have chosen, the ego would have chosen,
right?
But that doesn't mean it was the best for me.
Exactly. Oof. Yeah. And then as you take every step, it's like maybe you take that bite, you work through it, you take that bite of cake. And then it stops being in resonance with you. Yeah. You know, and then it's like, I just needed a bite. That's too rich. That's too whatever. Yeah. You know, but it's like just allowing yourself to take the next step of what feels right without fighting like our ego jumping in and being like, no, it should be this way. I should be with my mom.
Yeah.
This is a good topic.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of it going with your gut feeling, it knows what is up.
Especially because you have set the intention. I am looking to heal. I am looking to be whole. So then you've asked your spirit, your gut, to be online.
Yep.
And
then I just ignore it.
Start
and then
navigating
it's like, oh, well, you're going to be triggered then, and you're going to have to go do a worksheet, and then you're going to be suffering for several hours.
Well, but what is that? That's the deconstruction of the ego. It's like, oh, you couldn't listen to me.
Yeah.
The ego needs a little more deconstruction.
Yeah.
Let's trigger it.
Yep.
Let's make you aware of it.
Yeah.
Let's
I
heal
love that. Yeah. Exactly. So cool.
Crazy. Good share. Yeah. Listening to intuition. It's a practice.
Yes, it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.